Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Melody, and here are today's reports. COVID-19 cases sharply increase with a resurgence in the country. Yangon becomes deserted as number of COVID-19 cases surge. CNP garment sector face severe struggles due to collapse of demand. YSX hosts its 2020 Expo as online exhibition with live seminar. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the feature local news for today. Union Minister for Hotels and Tourism, Maung, presided over the video conferencing meeting for the performance of the ministry regarding its completed works and future functions for COVID-19 tourism relief plan under the COVID-19 economic relief plan of government on Wednesday. The MOHT has adopted the Myanmar Tourism Relief Plan to provide the development of Myanmar tourism industry in the outbreak of COVID-19 and in post-COVID-19 period. During the meeting, Union Minister Maung explained the tourism relief plans of his ministry in details, which was carried out within a fixed duration in COVID-19 period, including future working plans. He also added that the infection rate of COVID-19 is now increasing significantly as the second wave and the domestic and foreign travels are suspended, and it seriously affects the hotel and tourism businesses. As an appendix of CERP, the ministry implemented the roadmap for COVID-19 economic relief plan, which included 3 strategic keys to help rebuild Myanmar's tourism during the outbreak of COVID-19 and in post-COVID-19 period. The British Embassy in Yangon has announced a $3.4 million project of the UK government to redesign 2 prominent streets in the city on Thursday. According to the embassy's press release, under the Myanmar project, Bensudan Street and Junto Road will be upgraded in close collaboration with the Yangon City Development Committee. Consultations will also be held with local residents, businesses, and street users before implementing the project, which will focus on gender equality and inclusivity for ensuring that changes benefit all communities, including people with disabilities, women, girls, and those of all ages. The assessments were conducted in selecting these 2 roads for the project. Bensudan Street in the downtown grid is an important historic site, while Junto Road is a typical suburban road. The project will explore the use of other online tools to ensure continued collaboration with local communities while respecting COVID-19 social distancing guidelines. After this participatory design process, construction work will begin in 2021. Authorities and medical professionals have been making efforts for COVID-19 prevention, control, and treatment. In the Yangon region, COVID-19 infection rates are increasing. The regional government is making efforts together with the Ministry of Health and Sports to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and to house the infected people and those who have close contacts with them at the quarantine centers. The chief minister added currently there are 31 quarantine centers in Yangon region. It is still possible to accommodate more than the current number of patients as many spaces are left. Regarding the treatment process, medical doctors from states and regions arrived to control the situation in Yangon. People in Yangon have now been following COVID-19 guidelines. And I believe it's time now for our first report. Myanmar is currently experiencing rising COVID-19 infection rates up by more than 9 times. Within 1 month, COVID-19 deaths in the country have increased to about 5 times of that of earlier period while the infections surged. The majority of the COVID-19 related deaths in Myanmar are mostly elderly individuals who are already suffering from underlying medical conditions such as hypertension or diabetes. Myanmar reported a record spike of new coronavirus cases on the 12th of September, when the ministry reported a total of 351 cases. In the past few days, the Ministry of Health and Sports reported 200 new patients daily. Yangon region has the highest number of the cases, totaling over 2,000 cases.
Myanmar is currently experiencing the infections up by more than 9 times, and the number of their deaths increases more than 5 times during the resurgence period since 16th August. Within 1 month, COVID-19 deaths in the country have increased to about 5 times of that of earlier period, while the infection surged. The majority of the COVID-19 related deaths in Myanmar are also elderly persons who are suffering from the hypertension or diabetes and pre-medical conditions. Myanmar had the record number of the cases for the 12th September, when the ministry reported a total of 351 cases. In the past few days, the Ministry of Health and Sports reported 200 new patients more daily. Yangon region has the highest number of the cases, totaling over 2,000 cases. Ukenwe Regional Representative from Jiminai Township spoke to MI Radio how they are undertaking the current prevention processes.
The number of COVID-19 cases in our township increased too. So we carry out all the prevention process in our township. We strictly controlled in our township, like only the people who have to go out to work are allowed to go out. And only one person from each household can go out to buy essential food and medicine. The guard is assigned at the lockdown households. According to the speech from our State Councilor Daw San Suu Kyi, in this situation, people participation is very important. I want the people not to be stressed by this situation. I will urge the people to follow the health guidelines and stay at home, as the infections and death rate are increasing a lot.
In Yangon, the number of cases rose to over 2,000 from over 300 in the past 2 weeks. Mandalay also saw a sharp increase in cases from 6 to over 100. The infections also hit the nation's capital, Naypyidaw, where the number of the cases has grown from the 2 to over 50. In the Southeast Asia region, the number of the total infected cases reaches to 570,543. Within 1 month, a total of 200,000 cases increased. In the region, Philippines is the highest with the infections, and Myanmar has overtaken the Thailand with the 5th most number of the COVID-19 cases, with over 3,600 cases on 16th September. The infections cases in Myanmar are resurgence back after a month. With the increased infections, the number of the death cases has tripled. Dr. Situle, specialist from the Yangon Workers' Hospital, spoke to MI Radio about the current situation that can be worse if people still neglect the health guidelines. He said,
The infections cases increased because of the people's carelessness. Before the resurgence, people traveled a lot within holidays. Now the cases are increasing a lot. Then the death rate is increasing too. If the outbreak continues like that, we will have to face a lot of struggles. Many health workers are working on their best, but the country like UK and India faces a lot of struggle in controlling these infections. In this situation, Myanmar ranked the 5th place in the ASEAN COVID-19 chart within the 2 weeks. This is a very dangerous situation. If the infections increase continually, the death rate will follow too. So, I want all the people to follow the rules and regulations from the Ministry of Health and Sports.
Around the world, a total of over 29 million people are afflicting from the deadly coronavirus disease, with over 21 million recorded and over 939,000 deaths, according to the data from the Worldometer Coronavirus Resource Center. Myanmar is in 125th place on the world COVID-19 infected chart. With the latest update, Myanmar has so far reported a total of 3,894 cases, with 46 deaths and 908 recoveries, according to the data released from the Ministry of Health and Sports on 17th September.
That's the report on COVID-19 cases sharply increased with the resurgence in the country. Because of the increasing number of COVID-19 confirmed cases in Yangon, rules and regulations are laid down, including the stay-at-home order imposed in some townships. The governmental staffs are reduced to half of the workforce in alternative duty assigned, and many organizations and companies also adapted work-from-home plan. This leaves the crowded places and roads of Yangon with fewer people going out.
The Ministry of Health and Sports on 9th of September announced it has extended stay-at-home instructions to 21 more townships in Yangon with the purpose of effectively controlling the infection of the virus as the confirmed cases are rising in Yangon. The ministry also announced on 1st of September that 7 townships in the commercial city has to follow the stay-at-home order. Therefore, the townships that the stay-at-home order has been imposed bring the total number to 28. The regional government issued announcements that the residents in 44 townships of Yangon region, except Gogojun, must stay at home and not travel as the stay-at-home order has been imposed. During this COVID-19 prevention, control, and treatment period, the residents must follow the orders and directives by staying at home, and those who are going out for the apparent reasons and the employees who are going to respective work sites are seen moving in the commercial city. U Nyi Nyi, regional representative of the Community South Constituency 1 said,
The COVID committee in our township is working on a campaign daily in the roads and streets to educate the public to wear masks if they go out in public. During this stay-at-home period, the COVID committee of the township is discussing the administration of the wards with the parliament representatives and the NGOs. The administrators of the wards are now warning the families to reduce the people who go out and to follow the rules. In these days, there are fewer people on the roads, and those who go out are wearing masks. The participation of the public is very important, and it becomes stronger. Thus, this COVID will be washed off faster.
The Ministry of Health and Sports on 14th of September announced that there are 1,541 COVID-19 confirmed cases who are taking medical treatment at the hospitals in Yangon region. Apart from this, the respective general administration officers already announced the orders that all the restaurants and cafes have to provide only takeaway service starting from 8th of September. U Ao, a taxi driver from Tamui Township, said,
According to the updated news, the death toll is increasing and the infection rate is also rising rapidly. So there are no people on the roads and there is no trouble. Therefore, we taxi drivers have no customer on the roads. Some days I don't earn enough money for our family expenses. Due to the consequences of rising death toll, more infectious cases, people are panicked and afraid to go outside. Sometimes they go outside only when they have important matters. Therefore, we have very rare chances to get customers.
The local authorities had instructed all of the shops, including pharmacy stores, restaurants, and groceries, around the crowded places such as Yusana Plaza, Mingala Market, Xuebiezhou Market, to be closed starting from 12th of September. Go Danso, Transshopman from the Community North Township said,
Our family is facing lots of difficulties in our living. As people are staying at home, we have got no passengers this day. Actually, we are in big troubles while all of the businesses have been stopped and people are staying at home. We depend on the trishaw, so this time, some people dare not go out. We are not okay with our living because of the stay-home order, and so we have to stay at home and earn nothing. In the bus, our business won well.
The people who are eligible to stay at home are to stay at home only, except who are working in the government offices, companies, industries, and factories. Only one person to go out for necessary buying. Only 2 people to go to the clinic if necessary, to wear masks whenever going out. Only authorized vehicles to pass through the walls for transporting the workers. Only 1 person apart from the driver when going to the market. Only 3 persons, including the car driver, to go to the hospital or clinic if necessary.
That's the report on Yangon becomes deserted as number of COVID-19 cases surges. Moving on to the third report. More than 70% of Myanmar's garment products are exported to the European Union, and then the rest are exported to Japan, Republic of Korea, Canada, United States, China, and other countries. So far, the EU and the entire world faces the coronavirus crisis. The garment sector's supply chain is particularly severely hit. It has led to a collapse of demand for CMP industry in Myanmar.
Myanmar's garment sector, especially the cut-make-pack (CMP) garment factories, is facing severe struggles due to the collapse of demand from the EU, Japan, and South Korea, said U Tonton, a member of Central Executive Committee of Myanmar Garment Manufacturers Association. If we say that the garment sectors in Myanmar, they are only 1% to 2% of the factories targeting the domestic market, and the rest from 98% to 99% of the garment factories in Myanmar rely on the orders from the global markets. More than 70% of Myanmar's garment products are exported to the European Union, and then the rest are exported to Japan, Republic of Korea, Canada, US, China, and other countries. So far, the EU and the entire world face coronavirus crisis. The garment sector's supply chain is particularly severely hit. It has led to a collapse of demand for CMP industry in Myanmar. U Tonton, a member of Central Executive Committee of Myanmar Garment Manufacturers Association, spoke to MI Radio about the struggles of CMP garment sector.
ကုန်ကျန်းအများစုအထည်လေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ကုန်ကျန်းအများစုကလည်းကျွန်တော်ကမ္ဘာမှာတရုတ်ပြည်သူသမ္မတနိုင်ငံကပဲယူကြတာများတယ်လေအဲ့ခါကျတော့အဲ့ဒီမှာကျွန်တော်ကုန်ကျန်းပြက်လက်မှုနဲ့ကျွန်တော်ကြုံတွေ့ရတယ်ပထမဆုံး
Since the early occurrence of the COVID-19, the garment factories in Myanmar were forced to stop running over time due to the significant disruption on the supply. Around 90% of the supplies came from China, which was blocked exporting and importing because of the infection in January. When the factories tried to run the operation, the outbreak appeared spreading all over the world. The buyer countries cannot offer and even cancel the orders. So the garment manufacturers in Myanmar are struggling for a decline in revenue.
A few factories are still running the operation, but only because COVID-19 restrictions disrupted their operations, and they need to complete old orders. Donita Mo, factory owner of Shui Siza Garment, said.
Most of the factories aiming at the local market have completely stopped operations after Dinjan holidays, but some factories will still running their operation for export market. We are just producing the garments for the old orders. Before COVID-19 period, we used to have 6 months ahead plan for every year, but during this pandemic, we can only plan for over a month until the mid of October. We don't know exactly if new orders will enter or what will happen after these months. The reoperation of export garment factories depends on their respective background buyer countries. Although we are facing many struggles, we don't want our workers to become jobless. The factory workers do not want to get compensation from their employers, but they just want stable job opportunity for a long-term period. Although the tailoring industry is at a loss for several months, the local owners of tailoring factories tend to struggle during this COVID-19 situation rather than stopping the whole operation and shutting down the factories.
U Tonton, a member of Central Executive Committee of Myanmar Garment Manufacturers Association, also said.
အရင်တော့မျောလင်းခဲ့တာကဟိုပါပေါ့နော်အရင်မကြဘူးဆိုရင်ပေါ့
We didn't expect that the pandemic would take so long at first, so we were planning for the renovation and to empower the workers' skill. But it becomes hard for the factories to survive this situation for long. Even though the government has helped the government sector by providing the loan package, the effectiveness is barely seen due to huge losses in the sector. It will take only a few days for the factories to share the remaining old orders. The CMP factories can perform for the local market. The demand for the local market is just enough for the factories targeting the local people. If the CMP factories will enter the local market, only the market and the suppliers will be ruined. The recovery processes are going to be performed after the outbreak.
Over 500,000 people are employed in the garment sector. There are around 420 factories as MGMA members, including 236 Chinese-owned operations, 67 Republic of Korea, 20 Japanese factories, and 92 factories based domestically. Myanmar earned around $4 billion, 5.3 trillion sets from CMP garment exports in 11 months in the 2019 to 2020 fiscal year, a year-on-year decline on $65 million, according to the Ministry of Commerce.
That's the report on CMP garment sector face severe struggles due to collapse of demand. Now we move on to the last report for today. The YSX Expo 2020 also featured the live broadcast of the first live panel discussion on the topic, post-COVID-19 investment in Myanmar, and the second live broadcast of the panel discussion, foreign investment in Myanmar's stock market at YSX Expo 2020. In addition, for those who want to trade stocks as a special program, they open stock account via online at YSX Expo 2020 for free by connecting with relevant securities companies.
The Yangon Stock Exchange convened its annual YSX Expo 2020 as first online exhibition and live seminar on 12 and 13 September. Due to COVID-19, the expo was held in a digital format using a web-based online platform instead of a public event. It was pre-registered via the registration link www.ysx.expo2020.online. An interview talk program regarding the economic situation amid and post-periods of COVID-19 in Myanmar was showcased by the officials from YSX 6 listed companies. Utatung, Executive Senior Manager of YSX, spoke to MI Radio about the convention of YSX Expo 2020.
Digital Yangon Stock Exchange Yangon Stock Exchange Expo YSX Expo.
The Yangon Stock Exchange has held its expo annually, and this year was the fourth time for us. With the incident of the pandemic, YSX Expo 2020 was not held on a grand scale, just like those in previous years, in digital format using online platform. The YSX Expo 2020 featured digital exhibitions. There were also online seminars and online workshops with financial and economic experts, as well as the other financial professionals invited for the online seminars and workshops. The investors from all over the country had a chance to open an online trading account at Yangon Stock Exchange via online. Many enthusiasts on Stock Exchange pre-registered on Facebook page of YSX and YSX official website and attended the expo with new normal format.
The YSX Expo 2020 also featured the live broadcasts of the first live panel discussion on the topic, post-COVID-19 investment in Myanmar, and the second live broadcast of the panel discussion, foreign investment in Myanmar stock market at YSX Expo 2020. In addition, for those who want to trade stocks as a special program, they opened stock account via online at YSX Expo 2020 for free by connecting with relevant securities companies. Apart from digital exhibition and investment seminars, the digital booths of YSX and its 6 listed companies, FMI, MDSH, MCB, FBB, DMH Telecom, and EFR, as well as YSX digital security companies, MSEC, KBZSC, CBSC, KDZRH, and UABSC. The lucky draw program for YSX Expo 2020 also included with laptop, smartphone, and digital watch and many City Mart gift cards. The good news is that the online Expo 2020 will be extended until September 18 of 2020 for those who have watched the Expo and have not yet seen it while staying at home. Wu also spoke about the basic training course and regular course arrangements for the Yangon Stock Exchange.
The online course took 4 months to cover all the fundamentals of stock exchange, and the training course consists of real trainings conducted by experienced persons in the field of stock exchange here in YSX question and answer sections and other facts regarding YSX and stock market. About 180 participants attended the first batch of YSX online course. The advanced course of the stock market will be run during the final quarter of the year 2020. So the trainees who have finished their basic training can directly join the advanced course.
Wu also mentioned that there are more companies to add to Yangon Stock Exchange. The YSX is conducting the inspection for ensuring these companies get listed as soon as possible. For 2020, YSX will continue to struggle with existing companies and new entrant companies. He also said that the investors can be on the lookout for the announcement of new entrants soon.
That's the report on YSX holds its 2020 Expo as online exhibition with live seminar. Now to international news. United States President Donald Trump predicted on Wednesday at least 100 million doses of a coronavirus vaccine could be distributed by the end of 2020. Contradicting a top governmental health official, Trump dismissed as confused. Hours earlier, Robert Redfield, director of the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said a COVID-19 vaccine could be broadly rolled out by the middle of next year or a little later. Trump said, telling reporters he called, quote, "That's incorrect information. I believe he was confused. I think he just misunderstood the question probably," end quote. Redfield, head of the federal government's disease control agency, made his comments in testimony before a U.S. Senate panel. He said general availability of a vaccine could come by, quote, "later second quarter, third quarter 2021, end quote. A vaccine could be ready as soon as this November or December, Redfield stated, adding that limited first doses could go to those who were most vulnerable. Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said in an interview late on Wednesday, Turkey and Russia have inched closer to a deal on ceasefire and political process in Libya during their latest meetings in Ankara, Turkey. Both sides held this week a new round of talks on the developments in Syria and Libya, which was expected to end on Wednesday. Ankara and Moscow are the main power brokers in Libya's war, backing opposing sides. Russia supports the eastern-based forces of Khalifa Haftar, while Turkey backs Libya's internationally recognized government of national accord. Having a ceasefire agreement has the potential to drastically de-escalate tensions in the battlefield, a turbid arena already permeated with various proxy groups and mercenaries representing other countries' interests. Eurostat on Wednesday said in the first 7 months of 2020, China became the top trading partner of the European Union, a position previously held by the United States. EU's imports from China increased by 4.9% in the January to July period, compared to the same period last year, whereas its imports from the U.S. dropped by 11.7%. According to the EU's statistical office, the bloc's exports to China recorded a slight drop of 1.8%. while those to the US fell by 9.9%. China and US were followed by the United Kingdom, Switzerland, and Russia on EU's main trading partner list in the first 7 months. That's all with the news and reports on Myanmar Today. Hope everyone is staying safe.